Boris FX Continuum offers some of the most creative transitions available today. What you might not know is that you can create additional motion and visual focus to your wipe transitions through the use of gradients. You can blend your wipe with the motion of your content or draw your viewer's attention by controlling where the transition starts and finishes with gradients. I'm Grant K for Boris FX, and let's get started. As always, the Boris FX Continuum filters work in a variety of editors and VFX hosts, and the results will always be the same, even if your host's workflow is slightly different. We'll examine two Continuum wipe transitions to highlight how much control you have by adding gradients to your workflow. For the first example, we're going to blend these two race car shots together with a gradient wipe. To get started, navigate your effects tools to the BCC transitions and locate the BCC+Smoke wipe. Drag it onto the cut to create the wipe transition. By default, this smoke wipe is affecting the entire image at the same time. If you select the transition and click View Matte, you will see exactly what I mean. Scrolling down through the parameters, you will find the gradient section. By enabling this option, you see how the smoke wipe is now driven by a directional gradient. If you turn View Matte off and scrub the result, you can see already how much more focused the smoke wipe has become. In addition, if the gradient is going in the wrong direction, this is a parameter to change the angle. You can also change the intensity of the gradient to have less or more of the smoke pattern as part of the wipe. So that's the super quick basics of how to use a gradient with a BCC plus wipe transition. However, there is so much more creativity and flexibility. For instance, launching the effects editor will bring up a dedicated environment for developing your transition. There are presets on the left, but beneath the presets are a range of different sprites to completely change the look of the transition. You can select a sprite and change its smoke parameters on the right. You'll note the gradient parameters just above the smoke parameters, and these can be fine-tuned as well. Finally, you can save these smoke wipes as custom presets and reuse them whenever you want. Click Apply to return back to your host, and you can preview the final result. The second transition I'd like to show you is using the texture of your image as part of a gradient wipe. Moving further down the timeline, we have some parkour action we'd like to blend together. Scroll through the effects controls and locate the BCC+Texture wipe transition. Drag that onto the cut. Scrubbing the transition, the wipe is using the texture of the buildings to create the effect. It's not bad, but I'd like to use the talent as the focal point for the wipe. To do this, select the transition and jump straight into the effects editor. Firstly, enable the gradient and change the type to radial. This allows us to focus the wipe on the action. Using the parameters, position the radial center in the middle of the somersault. If you scrub the frames, you can now see how the gradient wipe is starting with the person and not the buildings. By enabling the View Matte, you can see how the transition starts with the person and then expands to the rest of the shot. To focus the wipe a bit more, choke the matte to crunch the black and white levels, and adjust the softness to taste. Disabling the View Matte option, you can see how the incoming shot is blending through the action as the talent moves across the screen. To add a final touch of visual style, go to the middle of the transition and open the color correct parameters. Crank up the brightness and contrast and lower the cyan and magenta. This creates a color correction that pushes through the wipe transition along with the gradient. Click Apply to return back to the host application, and let's review the result. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to let us know in the comments. We also have the official Boris FX forums, as well as the Boris FX Discord server for bigger discussions. Links below. I'm Grant K for Boris FX, and see you next time.